Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I got a short SHTF scenario video for you guys here today. I like using these scenario videos as teaching tools and different ways to get people to think of different situations and how they would react if those situations became reality. Now, this particular video here is going to be on rationing, and rationing is a byproduct of certain bad things happening. Rationing has happened in the past, and it will happen again in the future. It has pretty much been a constant throughout history for different circumstances. At the end of this little video here, I'm going to do a discussion, and I'm going to talk a little bit on how I put these scenario videos together and where I get some of the ideas from and how they can benefit people by looking at these situations, putting themselves into those situations, because it gives them the opportunity to think how they would react to those situations if those things were to occur in real life. Anyway, you guys stick around. In 2023, the escalation of conflict merges into a four-front war. Africa, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, the conflict is divided along eastern and western lines. It pushes the world to a war of biblical proportions. It is a war of old hatred and new technology. It is a war of drones, cyber attacks, exoskeletons, satellites, energy, and DNA-based weapons. The suffering is worldwide. Due to the economic collapse and because of the global disruption of commerce, Congress passes in early 2024 the Triumph Through Good Citizens Act. The act is the new sword of Damocles that is held over the people. All commerce is nationalized. All goods and services are rationed. 401ks are seized and transferred into Triumph bonds to be paid by the government at intervals after victory. New gold and silver purchases are banned. Any gold or silver redemptions are tracked and taxed at 50% electronically. All goods and services are severely rationed. Households are allowed one shopper. The days of the week are selected by the first letter of the last name. All purchases are scanned by QR code on personal devices. Personal devices are now mandatory for all citizens, tracking all movement and acquisition of goods and services. The black market explodes. Food, medicine, fuel, spare parts become the new currency. Urban areas become militarized city-states. Rural areas become isolated and tattered. Because of the limitation of movement, all fuel production is now domestic. Fuel is only sold by need and is rationed. Essential workers are allowed to purchase enough fuel to go to and from work and 2 extra gallons for personal use. Work consumption is calculated by Google Earth. Medicine is also rationed. Preventable deaths increase and life expectancy falls. Entertainment is all now CGI. Civil work is required for ration allotments. Mandatory civil service is required for all able-bodied adults. Men are required to man checkpoints, load and unload supplies, or repair critical infrastructure. Women are required to work in medical, education, and distribution services. On top of the threat of war and invasion, crime is rampant. Looters and thieves are deemed enemies of the state and are treated accordingly. Life has become hard and cold for many. Families, neighborhoods have consolidated. Pockets of survival exist, held together by average people who refuse to give up. This is the reality on the ground.
So what did we get this week?
Not much. It's a good thing I got up there when I did, because they started doling out stuff, and then the electronic scan system all went down and nobody could get anything. So it was just kind of like probably the first 40% of people that was there that got anything. The other people were pissed. They sent them away. They had to almost kind of break up a riot. But I got 4 packs of instant mashed potatoes. I got 2 cans of beans, got a bar of soap, and then here's the real goodie. I got us a pound of butter. So,
well, that's good. How convenient that the scanners went down right in the midst of handing out the rations.
Yeah, I don't know what they expect people to do. You know, that's all that they gave us for a week. You know, it's a damn shame that people didn't have some stuff ahead of time, but that's just the way it is. But, you know, we still got a little bit of stuff left, but as long as they're still putting rations out there, I'm going to still go up and get them, because I don't want people to think that we got anything else, anything more than what other people got.
Right.
But I stopped by Bill's. His boy was hurting pretty bad. He had a sore on his foot, and the sore on his foot looked like a blister that got infected and kind of got away from him. So I told him how to make a little bit of a balm with some stuff that's out in the woods. So hopefully that'll heal. And he gave me this right here. This is the real gold piece of gold that we got for the week. But he gave me this, thanked me profusely. But I think his son's sore will maybe heal if he gets some stuff out and starts tending to it. But I told him what to do on that. But I'm gonna have to get my stuff around here and get up to my shift at the checkpoint. They said that it was probably going to be 4 hours today, so I'll pull my 4 hours up there. So the powers that be are still pleased with us, so we can still go up and stand in the ration line with everybody else. So
okay,
all right. Hey everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed that little short scenario there with both the lead up and the situation that we put forth. It painted a pretty bleak picture, didn't it? I believe that these little scenario videos are good teaching and training tools because when people watch a movie, they hear a story, they read a book on different bad situations, I think they naturally want to put themselves into those situations and think through how they would handle those particular situations. Because you can take 5 different individuals, put them all into the same situation, you're going to get 5 different responses to that particular situation, because everybody's life experience is different. And I think it's a good way to get the mental aspects of preparedness going and how they would handle different situations. Now, I think people think that I just come up with these scenarios just out of the blue, and I actually don't. 95% of these scenarios that I put forth are either some article that I read that pertained to a specific aspect of the scenario, or I read something on some kind of science journal or something that talked about what new technology could be in the future, speculation on how different powers that be would handle different bad situations, my own personal life experiences, and then the massive experiences of the old timers that I was told all the firsthand accounts. The old timers lived through a lot: economic collapse, depression, world wars, civil strife of the 60s, inflation of the 70s. They've seen a lot. I heard a lot of those firsthand accounts. Now, the first thing that I want to discuss here is medical. Now, it's taken for granted that medical is going to be available. There were times when medical wasn't available in the past because something bad was happening. And my mom's friend is a firsthand account of that. She was a teenager during World War II, and she had some type of infection in her female organs, and they couldn't cure it. So they took her to the doctor, and the local doctor here took a look at her. And now, side note on the local doctor, I actually heard his name many, many times growing up, but I actually found his gravestone in a local cemetery here just recently, so I know that this person existed. But he looked at her and he said, I think I know how to cure her, how to fix this, but I don't have access to the medication, because the only people that have access to that medication right now is the Army. So he got in contact with his contacts in the military, and somehow he secured this medication for her and cured her, and she lived a long and productive life. Now, I never heard how that all took place. I don't know if that medication was paid for, given away, stolen. I have no way to know that. The old timers never told me that, and I never felt the need to ask. Another thing is, people talk about barter. People talk about basically cheap crap that they're going to trade after some bad thing happens. A lot of the stuff that I heard of and I've read on in the past, barter can be knowledge. It can be knowledge or some type of service. You perform some type of service for somebody, you get something back in advance for that. So it's not always about trading trinkets after SHTF. It could be trading what you know on a particular topic, subject, something that you're good at. So that's another thing that I plugged in to this particular video here. Rationing during World War II was stamps and booklets, and that's not going to happen this time. If something bad happens now in the technological world we live in, rationing is going going to be electronic. You're going to scan something on your phone. You're going to scan something on the cash register. It's going to work like that. But then that's not without its set of problems. That's another thing that we put into this particular scenario. There's been times when we've been in a store just shopping or whatever, and they announce over the system the EBT cards are down, and the little government assistance cards that they give people, they're down and they're not working. That's happening now. If that happens now, that's certainly going to happen if something bad happens. So let's say you haven't gotten any supplies for a week. You go up to the ration line and it's supposed to be all electronic, and now that system goes down. What kind of civil unrest or civil strife is that going to, is going to take place at that particular point in time? Like I said, that's just something that I pulled from my own personal experiences. Tracking and use of fuel and mileage and that kind of stuff. This is another thing that happened to me recently here that I thought was good to add into this particular scenario. We went out of state for a medical treatment, and the insurance said, well, we'll give you X amount of mileage to go to this specific place to get this treatment, and we're going to give you this many miles. Well, we said to them, we don't want to take that way because there's, that's taking us through some really bad urban areas and stuff. We don't want to go that way. We want to go a different way. Tough. That's what we're giving you. Take it or leave it. So it's not without precedent, and they use Google Earth to track from point A to point B, the shortest route through whatever way, and that's how they calculated that. So I figured I was going to add that into this particular scenario too. Another thing, just off my own personal experiences that I've seen happen, there's no reason why something like that couldn't be figured into a future event. Another thing is seizure of assets during a bad time, a seizure of privately held assets. I read an article years ago already now where one of the things that they were talking about were seizing certain investments to possibly pay off the national debt. And, it was all done kind of like speculative, how would something like that work? That particular article that I read, it's not out of the realm of possibility because there's a massive amount of privately held assets in this country, more than enough to cover certain financial obligations. So it was being discussed. Whether or not it would be put into place, who knows? But that was actually something that was on the board that people were discussing. There is just a massive black market if there would be some type of rationing system. The black market is a byproduct of rationing and in hard times. People that have stuff, they have goods, they have knowledge, they have services, they're gonna try to get the top dollar for that, and they're going to use the situation. Profiteering, is sort of the word that comes to mind. So that's another thing, that can be happening during these different circumstances and these different situations. It's a bleak world when things like this take place, and I think people need to start thinking about, how they would, react in these situations. People are a resource as well as goods. There are laws on the books already where people are forced into some type of work. During World War II, when they were rebuilding Europe, the militaries that controlled Europe at the time, they rationed out calories for the human citizens that were there. They rationed out the calories. You were given enough calories to basically keep you on your feet for a hard day's work. There's no reason why something like that couldn't happen again if the situation was bad enough, and like I said, the laws are already on the books. There's all kinds of research that you can do. You can punch in, martial law and how that would work. You're going to get all kinds of stuff that's going to come up on your computer screen. But wanted to cover this stuff here. Wanted to have this discussion with you guys on this particular scenario here. Something where I got, where I get the ideas of this stuff. Like I said, most of the stuff that I have in these videos actually has some type of precedent in real life. So anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information, a little entertainment out of this video here. Thinking your way through potential problems in the future. Anyway, you guys have a good one.